in the past couple days, I've been sort of thinking about, what is going to happen with Aaron. Clearly, there's the side of Aaron, deciding if he wants to return to Green Bay. He could obviously decide he doesn't want to return. Maybe he wants to test it out somewhere else, like Denver, Pittsburgh. Who knows? There's lots of different things flying around that could potentially make sense for him and what he decides to do. And he did say yesterday in his press conference or the day before that he's not going to take as much time this time when it comes to deciding his future. He's going to talk to some people, sort of figure out what he wants to do, and then sort of come out and give the Packers his decision. And on the other front, though, I was sort of wondering, with Brian Gutekunst up there for the Packers, has he changed his mind? Does he want to potentially move on from Aaron Rodgers? Because, a couple of years ago, the thing was that Rodgers felt like Gutekunst and the front office weren't really committing to him for the long term. And, there was thoughts of, okay, maybe after the 2021 season, Jordan Love comes in and takes over for Aaron Rodgers. But clearly, things seem to have changed in the past season. Of course, with Aaron and Brian's, relationship seemingly growing a lot, their communication growing better with Aaron Rodgers playing at an elite level. It seemed like Gutekunst was sort of sold on Rodgers. But now with the way the Packers went out in the divisional round, I was sort of wondering in my mind, does this change, Brian Gutekunst's thoughts about what to do with the Packers coming into the 2022 season next year? And Matt Lafleur had a press conference today, and it's a pretty good press conference. You should go watch it all. He sort of goes through lots of different things. But in his press conference, he was talking a little bit about Aaron Rodgers and sort of what he thinks, about Aaron Rodgers coming back, and then sort of about the front office as well. So he says, I sat down and talked to Aaron today for quite some time. I think we're all a little numb to the situation right now, but we're hopeful that he'll be back next year. Obviously, this guy has done so much for such a long period of time for this organization, for this city, for this team. And so I want to be respectful of his process, whatever he needs to go through to make the best decision for himself. And certainly we would love for him to be a Packer and be a Packer until the day he decides to retire. Then he says, every conversation I've been involved in with Goody and Russ and Mark, we're all on the same page there. There's no debate. So with Matt Lafleur saying that, at least in the past, what he's thinking now, he's basically saying Brian Gutekunst, Russ Ball, the guy who does the cap stuff, accounting, all that kind of stuff, and Mark Murphy, that they're all on the same page that it comes to wanting Aaron Rodgers back in 2022. So that is very interesting, and I think it makes sense because I do think, coming into this next year, the Packers' best chance at, returning to a Super Bowl is having Aaron Rodgers. Clearly, there's lots of uncertainty when it comes to, if Rodgers weren't here, is the answer Jordan Love? And what would happen, of course, with Jordan Love being there at quarterback? And I think clearly next year the Packers would have a much better shot with Aaron Rodgers being the quarterback. I think it is hard looking at it because lots of you guys have said in the comments, it's like year after year, the past 3 seasons, to have such high hopes for this Packers team, and then to come up short as we have. And Aaron Rodgers in the past couple, the past 2 years at least, hasn't looked amazing, in the playoff game. The offense hasn't looked great whatsoever. And it's like we have these high expectations coming in, and then unfortunately we just go down in a bad way in the playoffs. And so I think some people I've seen, seeing what people say in the comments, it's like there's a group of people who want Rodgers back, and it also seems like there's a group of people that don't want Rodgers back. They're almost like, let's move on and get started with what's next for the Packers, which I sort of understand that thought process. Some people want to trade Rodgers while we can to get some first-round picks and build for the future, which I guess could, potentially make sense. And so I just thought it was interesting that Matt Lafleur did say that they're all on the same page when it comes to, wanting Rodgers to be a Packer until the day he decides to retire. And I'm wondering with that comment if, he's talked with those guys now, or, if Brian Gutekunst has changed his mind since, the last time Matt Lafleur and them, spoke with each other. Clearly, it's all speculation, and, we have no idea what's going to happen with Aaron Rodgers. I've said in the past couple of days that before this game, I thought there was a good chance Aaron and Devontae return, just because I thought they would go farther. I thought they'd go to the Super Bowl, and I thought, with them doing that and potentially winning a Super Bowl, why would they not run it back one more time? But now, the way they went out here, I wouldn't be quite as shocked if Rodgers decided to go somewhere else just to start, somewhere fresh, somewhere new. But honestly, I have no idea. I feel like it's a flip of the coin right now. I don't think anyone, exactly knows what Rodgers is going to do. We can speculate. We can have our own thoughts about what could potentially happen. But we're not going to know until Rodgers either decides what he's going to do or if the Packers decide something else. But it seems right now, at least from Matt Lafleur, that the Packers want Rodgers back coming into 2022. So it seems that the ball is in Aaron Rodgers' court, at least right now. And we'll have to see, what he decides to do if he decides to return to Green Bay. He did say in his press conference yesterday, I don't want to be a part of a rebuild. And so, with that comment, Rodgers still wants this team to be competitive. And I think for him, recognizing that this team that the Packers have put together this year, we're so talented in so many different areas. From the pickups like Devondre Campbell or Rasul Douglas. Clearly, the Packers aren't going to be able to pay them, the same small amount that they paid this year, because when they picked them up, those guys, there wasn't as much potential, I think, as people thought there would be for those guys, and clearly they really outperformed expectations, with Devondre Campbell being signed for about $2 million a year, then being an all-pro linebacker. He's clearly going to cost a lot more, and also Rasul Douglas will probably, get a bigger contract if he stays with Green Bay. So with all the different cap situation, things the Packers have going on, I think we're around $40 to $44 million right now over the salary cap. And, that's without signing Devontae Adams if we decide to sign him. So there's definitely lots of things the Packers will have to do. There's lots of free agents, and who knows what this team will look like coming into 2022. So I don't exactly know, what Rodgers will decide. He's probably looking at all of his options right now, trying to see, what he wants to do. Clearly, I think he loves Green Bay. He loves the fan base. And, we'll have to see if he wants to return once again, or if he decides to be, like Tom Brady, Brett Favre, Peyton Manning, to, find a new team and finishes off his career somewhere else. And clearly, as a Packers fan, it would just be sad to see, Aaron Rodgers go. Just as it's sad to see, these guys who've been in Green Bay for so long, especially, a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers, to see him go, it would be sad, and it would be tough. But who knows what is going to happen? We'll have to wait and see in the next few weeks and next month. I have no idea, how long Aaron Rodgers is going to take to make this decision. But it will be interesting to see sort of what happens, because if he does decide not to return, what's going to happen. We've been talking a lot in the live streams I've been doing the past couple of days. If Rodgers doesn't return, the Packers probably trade him somewhere. The Packers probably will get, a couple first-round picks. So there's lots of potential things the Packers could do with that. I think, without Rodgers, we'd save some money in cap space, but clearly then you lose Aaron Rodgers. But the Packers could potentially, have a few first-round draft picks and could potentially start building for the future, maybe build a solid defense, because I do think the Packers' defense has lots of talented players and lots of guys to build around. Kenny Clark, Rashawn Gary, Jair still here, Eric Stokes, maybe signing Rasul Douglas. I think this Packers defense could be legit. I think much improved next season if we're able to keep lots of these guys with the salary cap being as it is, because, of course, this was Joe Barry's first season as a defensive coordinator in Green Bay. So you would have to think, coming to his second year with lots of these guys already, having the defense down now in the way they performed versus the 49ers, maybe this defense could be a top 5, top 10 defense next season. So I think the big thing right now with the Packers in the offseason, it all comes down to Aaron Rodgers, what his decision is, what he wants to do in the future. And then I think after we see that decision, that's where, things go on from things. If he stays, clearly the Packers have to figure out the cap situation, see what they can do there. And then if he doesn't, stay and he gets traded or whatever happens there, the Packers, definitely have a lot of things to figure out when it comes to, all those different kinds of things. So those are sort of my thoughts today, what Matt Lafleur had to say, and I will continue to cover the Packers on this channel, even though we are no longer in the season. It's definitely unfortunate. But if you guys want to stay up to date with all Packers news throughout the offseason, draft coverage for the Packers, lots of things like that, feel free to subscribe down below. And I'm probably going to start doing a lot more live streams as I've done the past, few days. So thank you guys so much for watching. As always, drop a like if you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time.